How are we doing, guys? We are back with the Lockdown Live, episode number 5. We've got more fantastic guests. We have got Jack. How are things, mate?
I'm all right. I'm back. Yeah, I'm all right. As good as can be in the conditions that we're all sort of going through at the minute. But yeah, all good.
I miss a Giancarlo, to be fair. A certain person that we speak about a lot on the player ratings, myself and Joe. To be fair, we've had many conversations, Giancarlo, over kind of like messages and that lot. Just put a face to the name. How are things, my man?
Well, just as Jack's mentioned, 10 months on, situation itself, COVID, it's looking to be getting better. My dad's not 100%. His health's not been great over the 10 months. So, having ALLLEEDSTV there as a game, it's been really good. Obviously, Leeds went up in the 10 months, something to celebrate about. A couple of new albums here and there. But, it's nice having ALLLEEDSTV. And like I said, putting a face to the name. I'm proud to be on. I'm glad that you've had me.
Top man. If there is anything to keep you going, Marcelo Bielsa is still manager of this football club. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing, mate. But honestly, absolute pleasure to hear that myself, Jack, Tash, and Joe, that we play a part in that. That's absolutely fantastic to hear. And George, you're nearing. To be fair, George has got his own channel as well, Loco for Leeds. You're very close to 100 subscribers. Guys, make sure after this video you head over to our Loco for Leeds. Check it. It will be in the link in the description. Check him out. You're almost there, mate. You're 2 off 100 subscribers. Tell us a bit about yourself, mate.
So yeah, thanks for having me on, lads. Big fan of channel and everything. And yeah, as you said, Oscar, there, I'm on 98 subscribers for my channel at the moment. I'm across all social media, Loco for Leeds, and I just do match reactions, pre-match chats. Got a couple of guests on as well. I spoke to Seb Carroll. Anybody remember him?
I remember him, yeah.
He played for Brighton as well. So I spoke to him. I've got an interview with him. I'll probably come out tomorrow. I'll bring it out. So I've got a few former players and that sort of thing on. Like to have chats with them and that sort of thing. So go check it out, lads. Anybody watching, once we're done with the stream, go and have a check out what I do. And I really enjoy it. I'm thank you very much for having me on. It's great to come on. And also, I do a little bit for LS11. I'm sure everybody knows of LS11. Big shout out to those guys across there. We'll be doing a live stream tomorrow night as well. Me, myself, Alfie, Aaron, and Lou as well. We'll all be on there live tomorrow night. So check us out if you can as well there.
And the beard's already getting praised, mate. Top man, Samuel Epstein there. It is a fantastic, mate. That is an absolutely outstanding beard, I've got to say.
Is that a lockdown beard, or is it just your beard? Like, have you set that from, start a lockdown, right? I'm going to grow a beard now, and I'm just going to let it go. Or is that your beard?
No, mate. I've had this beard for years, mate. I've had it for years. I've got that kind of look, long hair beard. That's my kind of. That's my deal. I like it.
You know the word for that? Magnificent. Love it.
Thank
you. It is.
Mine's only a bit of stubble, compared to... I'm actually looking at you, and I'm like, oh my God, what's the state of me? I love going on as well, though. It's a bit... Mine, I can't... Do you know the thing is, though? I can't grow it. I could never grow it that long. I itch so much, because I work in building trade anyway, so... I just itch with dust and everything, and it just rives at me. It's all beard TV this now, isn't it? Let's talk about beards all night.
I started off in high school trying to grow sideburns, but that weren't happening.
Well, guys, obviously, Brighton's just finished. They've just been beaten by Man City, so they're obviously getting closer and closer to that relegation zone. But they gave City a bit of a scare. Obviously, that's the game coming up. Obviously, Ben White. Graham Potter, I think, should be reported to the PFA for trying to make Ben White a midfielder rather than centre-back after what he did for us. I mean, Jack, what are your thoughts going into that game? Obviously, it's been a really, really poor start to the year for us. 2 3-0 defeats on the bounce. I know the Spurs one we can forgive, but the Crawley one. Any kind of concerns going into this, or do you think this is a real opportunity to bounce back now?
Well, I think the less said about Crawley, the better, isn't it? I think we just need to put Crawley as just one of them days. You know, I know a lot of young kids, and I think it's not the first time I've ever criticised Bielsa with some of the decisions he's done, but the substitution Sunday, as we know, just completely killed the game for me. I mean, the young kids, Jack Jenkins, oh, actually, he's a pal of my lads, is Jack. And I got a bit upset seeing some abuse he got and everything, but that was not the game to put him into. At the end of the day, people are saying they're not ready for the first team. They're not Premier League footballers. Hold on, you're playing against Crawley. This is their window. This is, you know, they had nothing to lose to Crawley that day. They're going to give an extra 10, 15, 25% to try and get a result against Leeds that day, you know. And it was just one of them days, you know. I was disappointed, like I'm sure every Leeds fan was. But I don't think that the criticism that some of the young kids got that day were just, I thought it was a bit unfair for them, you know. They're not used to playing against them type of players, you know. And I thought the pitch on Sunday was absolutely shocking. If you've seen that ball, how much it
bounced, wasn't it? Everywhere.
Awful. And they're not used to playing on them kind of things. You know, they're playing at elite level. You know, I mean, Crawley are bringing on only fella from Surrey or whatever they call it, that programme he were in, you know, and I want to, that's my thing on it anyway. It's done. It's dusted. Without the FA Cup, it's nothing new, is it? You know what I mean? Like I said, why do we even enter it? Because it's just a waste of time. We just don't ever go anywhere. But anyway, but Brighton's the one in it. These are the games now. Forget your Tottenham, the 3-0s. I've always said they're free hits to us at the minute. However we do or don't do, it's not the end of the world, is it? I mean, we did well against Tottenham for first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but then
definitely.
You've got Harry Kane and Son. They're world-class players, you know, they are. And for that, the goal there just before half-time, which I thought killed us off, you know, between them two, the crossing and the thought and the movement, you know, that's the difference, and that's what we haven't got. But when people criticise the team, they've got to realise this. They're still, this team that we've got and these players are still a team who were 13th in the Championship before that man took over. And people get carried away, and it does make you laugh sometimes. People are expecting us to be going out and beating these top teams. We're not nowhere near at that level yet, and it's all about just thinking, you know, properly about it. You know, we've just, the Brightons, your Newcastles, them teams that are down there with us, they're the games that we need to look at winning. Them other ones are just like, yeah, maybe in 4 or 5 years' time, we might be up there and be, you know, and be able to combat and be able to play against these teams. But Brighton on Friday, is it Friday or is it Saturday? When do we play them?
Saturday. It's a Saturday 3 o'clocker, mate. I forgot the feeling. I forgot the feeling of a Saturday 3 o'clocker. It's
well, that'd be a first one. It's Saturday 3 o'clock. Yeah. From what I'm hearing as well, I mean, Brighton obviously have been beat. They play Man City tonight, have they?
Yeah,
been beat. I mean, there's no great shame in that. I don't know how they've played. I've not watched it. The return of Benjamin or non-return of Benjamin. I don't know. Did he play tonight?
Yeah, playing midfield, which was like, is
that what you brought up earlier? He put.
He's played midfield for the last, I think, 6 or 7 weeks, and Brighton fans are going mad about it. I think he's getting a lot of sticks, to be fair, as well, Ben White, but it's never been his position for me. I've never seen him play really well there, to be honest.
I mean, Harry Potter, who manager of them, you know what I mean? He's no wizard, is he? You know, that's my little fun for tonight. Like, but, you know, that Graham Potter, I don't think he knows how to play him, does he? He doesn't know where to play him. I think he's just, for me, they kept Ben White as a bit of a screw you, Leeds. You're not having him. He's done so well for you. We think that you'll be a relegation rival with us. Well, we've just proved that we are no relegation rivals with them at the minute, are we? You know, we're not going to be in a battle with them. I cannot see it. I can't.
We're
any way, shape, or form.
9 points clear of Brighton at this moment in time.
Exactly.
So it takes something special now to kind of drag ourselves into that now. But I mean, Giancarlo, I mean, what are your kind of thoughts on Brighton? Obviously, they play quite pretty football, but it's not been particularly effective for them. They've been a little bit reminiscent of Norwich from time to time in terms of certain games have just, conceded a lot of goals in that sense. I mean, do you see this being a very open game, or do you think this is going to be a tough game for Leeds to break them down?
I think it very much emulate what we've just seen with City. City non-stop attacking, will non-stop attack. They'll have a couple of counters, there's no doubt. I mean, they are quite unfortunate. Lopez still out injured, I think, isn't it? And they've got another forward, and Lamps is not playing. But there's no doubt they are a skillful team. I mean, like Jack said about Brawley, I mean, Leeds is just as bad. We're playing half our games a season off the 4-5. It doesn't play to our method, our style. So I don't know. I'm hopeful it's a 6-pointer. If we win it, we go well clear of them. And again, it's a pivotal game. If we win that game, we're not too nervous about relegation. So yeah, fingers crossed.
I mean, you mentioned Morpay there. I mean, George, Morpay, that season, also Brentford. Oh, my word, I could not stand him. I can't stand Morpay. I'm not going to lie. I cannot stand him at all. I would love to see Coops or Struick, whoever, just go through in the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, to be honest, because he is such an annoying footballer. He's so I mean, those games against Brighton, I think I compared him that season to being like the Diego Costa of the Championship, because he is a complete, I'm not going to say the word, but a certain house, isn't he? Let's be honest, mate. What are your thoughts on him? Yeah, he is. Let's just say he's a shit house, isn't he? He's just a complete and utter shit house. But you know what? If you've got him in your team, you love him, don't you? But any other team, just whoever he's playing against, cannot stand him. I mean, what are your thoughts on him? Do you see him and Aylan having a bit of a do in the game? Do you think that's going to be an interesting little duel if Morpay is starting?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Yeah, and I agree 100%. Yeah, he's a real wind-up merchant, isn't he, for them? He loves to wind up the opposition fans. He had a real good record, like you say, Oscar, against us. And I can see it. Yeah, it's going to be a big battle between those two. But for me, he's the only actual player that worries me out of the Brighton team. We've got Basuma, haven't we, who's a quality player. But other than
he might not be fit for the game potentially, Basuma. But he did start today, and he might be out. So that could be a big boost for us, to be fair.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a top class player. But yeah, Morpay, real danger man. I think he's the one to watch, isn't he? On Saturday. And for me, we're gonna win this game and win this game comfortably. I don't really rate Brighton actually at all, to be honest. And that's not me having a dig because of the old Ben White thing. I think it's just I don't rate them at all. And I believe they'll go down. I'd kind of like to see them go down, to be honest. And just because I feel like they play nice football, they just haven't got the results, have they? And if you don't get the results, then you shouldn't be in the division, really. And I feel like we do get more results than them, obviously. The table shows that. And yeah, I can see us winning this one comfortably. It's all about an early goal, isn't it, lads? If we get that, for me, if we get an early goal, we've got to keep going. Because in games, we've got early goals and we haven't. West Ham, we got an early goal. Chelsea, we got an early goal. And we gave up the lead and we didn't go forward and attack them. We kind of let the other team come on to us. And Brighton, for me, just haven't got the attacking power. And yeah, I can see us winning. But Morpay, yeah, he's going to be the one and only threat for me in this game.
The interesting thing is, though, is that obviously, Jack, KP, we know is out of this game. We saw Pascal Struick kind of come in, which looked like an experiment, that, to be fair, Struick, for me, playing in front of KP as the midfielder. It didn't work, did it? I mean, can you see Struick being played there as Phillips' deputy, or do you see someone like Shackleton coming in, or do you see Klich dropping in, Pablol potentially. I mean, what would you do in terms of replacing KP for this game?
Well, first and foremost, you can't replace him, can you? We all know that. He's not. He's irreplaceable to Leeds United, is KP at the minute. But I don't think maybe Bielsa did have one eye on the Brighton game, knowing that Calvin's out, and played Pascal there when obviously Calvin was fit, and he put Calvin at centre half. So maybe he was looking at that. This is how I look at it. I know we look at going about Crawley and the League Two side, but what it is they had so much endeavour. They wanted it. Whereas we were just. It come across to me on Sunday that they just thought they'd turn up and win, which is not good enough. You know, these players didn't. But I do think that Struiker will do a job in there against Brighton because it'll be a different kind of game completely. Them players won't be 100 mile an hour chasing. They won't do that. So I think it will be a different game. And I mean, his natural position is central midfield, isn't it, Struiker? He's not a centre half naturally, is he? I think that's what his position is. But I can't see who else you could play there at the minute. I mean, obviously, Klich, do you drop? Do you move Hernandez more forward, put Klich back in that position? I don't know. It's an hard one. I'm sure that...
There's no obvious solution, is there? There's nothing that you can go, right, that's it.
No.
There's a plan B. If Phillips gets injured, we've got that plan B. I mean, this is where, for me, I know he's a player I completely forget about, but someone like Adam Forshaw, you know, you think he'd just do it for this kind of game. You know, just shove him in there for a game and just play him there. But
he'd be perfect. He would be perfect now for this kind of game. And it's like we all said before, he got injured. He was playing so well as well, and he were like an integral part of that team last year before he got injured. And it was a shame because I think we were seeing what we'd paid that money for and why we bought him, you know. But I don't know how far away is he at the minute?
We don't even get updates these days, so I don't know if it's
I've not heard nothing about Forshaw for...
He was out for 2 weeks in September 2019. He was only out for 2 weeks, apparently.
It went so under the radar.
Nothing through since then. But, I mean, Giancarlo, I mean, would you agree with Jack? Would you just go with Struick and just keep the system the same? Klich, still keep Klich high up, Rodrigo high up, keep that the same, and just put Struick in there? Or do you think... I don't know, a system change? Do you change to a double pivot? Do you change the system? Or do you just put Struick in there just for a game and see how it goes? Because to be fair, we're in a position now where we don't really need results as much as we did at the start of the season. We've got that comfortable cushion on the bottom three. I mean, we still want to win games, but we can afford to kind of like experiment a little bit, can't we? But, I mean, what would you look to do, to be fair, mate?
Yeah, no, you're right. We can look to experiment, but... I saying I don't count my chickens. I'm quite a pessimist, so we're not quite there yet. But I know what you mean. And Jack's right. You know, Struick is probably the best. You know, the best option. The difficulty is just like the left back situation. Beautiful having some versatile players who can play. You know, in different positions. Obviously, up front we've got Bamford, and then Rodrigo can play there, or Roberts if he's keen. But in the CDM position, obviously you've got Phillips, and then a more versatile player in Struick. Would you look to sign at the CDM possibly? Struick may well do the job. So I guess you've got to put faith for the next few games back. So I wouldn't like to see Klich back in seed. When we've seen him a couple of times, we'll lose a lot of creativity from it. You know, he can open the game up with one pass just like Pablol can. So I think if he doesn't play, you know, in your more attacking role, Brighton may well come on to us a lot more. Could you possibly put Shackleton there? Maybe. But with him being, you know, quite a big player, he may not have that strength that Struick has, and definitely not that aerial presence. So I think that.
That's an interesting point. I mean, I remember Klich went in there deeper. I think it was against Leicester, I think it was, and it was a disaster. I just remember Maddison, every single time he got on the ball, it just spun him, and Leicester were in on goal. I don't think it's Klich's position, to be fair. You know, I think I'd definitely be going along with, you know, Jack saying in terms of just give Struick a chance. The only thing I would say about that was, I think before the Crawley game, and I know the Tottenham game we can see the 3 goals, but we did keep 2 clean sheets with Struick and Ayling as the back 2. I know it was against Burnley and West Brom. But let's be honest, West Brom, I think they struggle to survive in League 2 at this moment in time, to be fair. They are absolutely shocking. But we were starting to gradually look all right at the back. But again, that Crawley game kind of does throw in a few doubts. I mean, George, how do you see it, mate?
I think it'll be Stroud quality, lads. I feel like Bielsa was testing it out. I was real disappointed with Bielsa on Sunday, like, because he almost played it as a bit of a training match. You can see that's exactly who's going to be playing on Saturday at the CDM role. It'll be Stroud, because he wanted to do it in the Crawley game. That's why Phillips was playing at centre back, and it was doing my head in. It was Martin Keown, wasn't it, and Jonathan Pearce on the commentary on Sunday. And he kept saying, "Oh, I really want to see Phillips in centre midfield," and that's where we all know that is his best position. But obviously, Bielsa knows he's not with Phillips on Saturday, so he wants to test out Stroud there. So yeah, I think it'll be Stroud, mate, on Saturday. I personally, I think it's the best option. I agree with the lads. It's the best option we've got. You know, on in that position where, like you say, Klich, it's not his position, is it? He's more attacking. Leeds is a bit more open if he's playing that, because he likes to go forward. Stroud could protect it, but he don't protect it like Phillips. Like Jack says, Phillips is irreplaceable for this team. He's so pivotal in the way we play, and when he's not there, like we saw against Palace, wasn't it? And was it the Leicester game missed as well? We got
I think it was Palace and then Leicester. The both games we lost 4-1. I mean, remember that Palace game? I mean, I think me and Jack were speaking on the watch along after that one and thinking never ever again play Klich deep again, because it just doesn't work. You know, and I think from that game, I think ever since that game, to be fair, I can't think of a time where we tried it, have we? So yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, how do you see the game going, Jack, to be fair? Do you think this is the game Leeds should win?
It's definitely a game we should win, and I think these are the games that we have to win to be realistic about staying in this league for next year. These are what we would class as our rivals this year. There's no two ways about it. So, yeah, I think to me, I think they'll have had an awful bollocking this week in training. I think Bielsa will have gone off his tits completely at Anfield how they were on Sunday, you know, because that wasn't a Bielsa side. As we've seen, you know, there was just nothing. You know, there was no intensity, there was no passion, there was no fight, there was no nothing about them. So I think that'll have been addressed this week in training. I'm sure the players know it themselves. You know, I'm sure the players got back on that bus, that long drive up from Crawley back to Leeds, and had a long time to think about what had happened. And I'm sure they want to put things right this weekend. For me, again, I think I've heard it. I don't know who said it, either George or Giancarlo. Early goal. We get an early goal, I reckon we could get 3 or 4. It could be like a Newcastle, West Brom again. I do. I'm confident, you know. I do. I think we get an early goal. We'll be all right. I do. That's what I think.
Would you also agree with that, Giancarlo? I mean, the early goal, I think, for Leeds, you know, at West Brom game especially, I mean, it just opened up, didn't it? I mean, it never felt like we were going to let it go. As soon as we went 1 up, it just felt like we were so on top. I mean, is it all about that for you, Giancarlo, not letting Brighton settle, just getting on top early doors?
No, it's definitely right. I mean, like I said, when we have scored it, you know, we tend to dominate games, apart from West Ham and Chelsea. But it is getting that early goal. You know, we always have the mark chances in the first 5 minutes. If you think back to Leicester, you know, Bamford had that header and it went in straight into Schmeichel's gloves. I mean, when we're 2-0 down against United, Bamford had another chance. And by the way, I'm not having a go at Bamford, but clinical finishing across the pitch in that first minutes. You know, we have so many chances. You put one of them away, it should be easy. So yeah, no, but I agree. If we go 1-0 up, there should be more of a. You'd hope that we wouldn't rush and get that step goal straight away. Just take a step back, a quick breather, and then go and find that second eventually. But I mean, what's the story on Llorente? Is Llorente supposed to be fit for the game or not?
I mean, I'm not sure if he's fit for this game, but he's rumoured to be close. But I think the big thing as well was that the last league game, Tottenham, we started, as Jack said, first 20 minutes, we could have been 1-up. There'd been no complaints. Bamford has that chance, the header that kind of spoons over the bar. It was a great chance, isn't it? I mean, if we go 1-up in that game, I don't think it develops into what it did at all. I think it's just the fact our first mistake of the game against a team like that, it gets punished. And I think against Brighton, I think a little less clinical, as George said. I think other than Morpay, they are struggling. They are light on goals in terms of the rest of the team. I think that's been their big problem this season. I mean, George, how do you see it going, mate? Do you think if we get that early goal, it could be quite a routine one for us this weekend? Do you seem confident before?
Yeah, I do. I agree with the lads. It's an early goal. Like I said before, when we scored early against West Ham and Chelsea, we seemed to sit off them. But I feel like an early goal this time, then it forces Brighton to come out, and they don't want to do that. They want to sit in tight and hit us on the counter-attack, don't they? So if we score early, yeah, I can see it being another kind of West Brom, Newcastle 4-5 goals. I do feel like they'll come out with a bit of a point to prove, even though a lot of these lads won't have played at Crawley. I do think it'll be the whole kind of club that'll want to come out and just prove a bit of a point. Like Jack says, I think they'll have had a real good hiding from Bielsa, even though Bielsa needs to take obviously quite a lot of responsibility for that result himself. I think the whole club, everybody will just want to come out, and I expect a quick start from us on Saturday. I do, and yeah, I just think honestly, lads, I think we're going to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, I love that.
I think we're going to wipe the floor with them, and we'll have no bother. We've just got to be careful. I know you say, Oscar, that we don't really need results as much, but we have to be careful because you've got to look at it and say we're only we're nearly halfway in now. We still need to get points on the board, don't we, lads? And yes, it's Brighton. It's a 6-pointer, isn't it? And like Giancarlo says, and we're gonna win it. I've no bother. I mean, people can come back to it and when we lose and look at this, but yeah, no, I'm so confident, that we're gonna get a win. I'm not even worried one bit about it.
I love that. To be fair, I mean, just before I move on,
that's what we're here for.
I love that. I absolutely love that from George. To be fair, I mean, before I move on to the next bit I was going to talk about, I mean, guys, make sure you fire in the questions to the lads here. Get your questions in on the comments. We're going to do another half an hour or so. Get your questions in. Anything you want us to cover. I mean, the next thing to talk about, and I mean, George is right. I think you've got to be confident. I mean, it's 9 points we've taken from the last 6 games. We've won as many as we've won as many as we've lost. As you were saying, Jack, we're a newly promoted club. It just feels like the expectation levels have just gone ridiculous, just through the roof. And I mean, we've just got to still keep calm. We've got Robin Koch out, who was probably our best centre back for me. Maybe Aylan, to be fair, you could argue last couple of weeks, but I think Koch, he's our internationally recognised centre back. I think obviously Rodrigo, we're still trying to suss out his best position in the team. Rafinha's only just come in. We've got other injuries all over the place. I think we're not even able to play Aylan in his best position. I mean, we've got to take that into consideration a little bit of it. But the only thing I'd say is, obviously we're in January now. We're almost halfway through January. Not really been much talk about transfers. I mean, what do you make of that, Jack? Would you be looking at any areas of the pitch and say, right, we've got to sort that out before the 31st, or are you not too bothered about January?
100% left back. We need a left back. I'm no disrespect to Alioski. He's putting shifts in every week in, week out, but he's not a left back. And I think sometimes he's getting exposed. And
you don't know what you're going to get from him, do you? I think we've said before. I think Kieran said you get one really good game in 5, and then you get one average one, and then 3 really poor. I think he goes from a 9 out of 10 to a 4. I don't want that from a 7 out of 10 every single week from a left back.
A 6, 7 out of 10. You don't want him to be fantastic. You don't want him to be dog shit, do you? You want him steady. especially as a left back. If that's what he's being picked, where he is, Bielsa's obviously playing him at left back. We haven't got a natural left back, have we? Leaf Davis, but obviously Bielsa, he does not think that he's ready. We don't see what happens in training ground every day, day in, day out. But I do think we do need a natural left back. It's plainly obvious in it. I think we can all, see it as when the sun rises in the morning. We do need a left back, and that for me is the key. But January is not the transfer window, is it? It's never been the transfer window to get the player you need, because teams are either pushing for titles, pushing for Champions League, pushing for whatever, or fighting relegation. They're not going to let the best players go, are they? So it's hard to get that.
Loans, isn't it? Probably most likely.
It's hard. It is. But yeah, I'm sorry. Can I just bring that up, because I've gone on about him for ages.
Yeah, Rico Henry. I mean,
Rico Henry. I absolutely think he's a fantastic player. And I've mentioned him a few times. I think he'd be ideal for us. I think he'd fit in ideal in Bielsa's system as well, because he just does not stop bombing up and down, up and down, up and down. Fantastic player, but obviously Brentford are doing so well. I'm sure they wouldn't be in any hurry to get rid of him.
Plus, aren't you? Probably this stage.
Easy.
I mean, it's but yeah, I think you look at it at this moment in time. I think obviously Leaf Davis, he's still young. Let's not forget. I think Bielsa probably won't look to rush him straight in. I think obviously after that Crawley game, it's probably not helped Leaf's cause at this moment in time. But I think LUFC, you look at this moment in time, maybe not so much. If we don't get a left back, I'm not going to panic too much, because I think obviously Dallas can go in there. I think Dallas does a decent job, but I do think long term, medium term, it's something we've got to look to invest in at this moment in time. But I mean, as even mentioned about Liverpool, I think Liverpool have got a vast array of left backs. I mean, could we get one on loan from them? Could we buy one from them? Who knows? I mean, there probably will be left backs available, but it's all about getting the right one, isn't it, Jack? I mean, it's all well and good. Because we've had people like Lawrence de Bock, Bersoni, George McCartney. I mean, so our record with left backs is. I mean, we made Barry Douglas look like, even Barry Douglas wasn't a massive success at Leeds. I mean, it's got to be the right one, wasn't it? We can't just rush into it.
I'm sure Victor, like he does with everything, he'll bring these names forward to Bielsa, and he tries and looks for these players, and then given a sheet of paper with names on, and Bielsa looks and thinks, yeah, maybe that will work, or whatever. But again, January is not the time to sign the player you need. It never has been. It's mental. January transfer window for me is never it's just a write-off. You're never going to get the player you need. You're not.
I mean, Giancarlo, what do you make to this this comment here? Obviously, bearing in mind it is January, I think obviously replacing someone like Klich or bringing them back up for Klich, it's going to be a 20-25 million pound job. It's not going to be a cheap business. Obviously, Rodrigo de Paul's been mentioned, but it's going to be north of 40 million. There's no doubt about that. Juventus, Inter Milan, both Milan clubs are circling around Rodrigo de Paul. That's just, for me, that seems like a non-starter now. I think the opportunity was there in September. We didn't take it, to be fair enough. But is that a big important thing now for you? Getting in another number 8, someone who can do Klich's box-to-box role? Because let's not forget, Klich, I love Mateusz Klich, he's probably one of my favourite players in this team. But he's 30 years old now, and he's pretty soon he's going to be near Pablo's age, where he won't be able to play week in, week out. Is this a priority for you, mate?
I wouldn't say priority, no. And I guess in that comment, the keyword is replace. I don't think it deserves. I don't think it needs replace. There's just a few key things with Klich at the moment. I mean, his skill on the ball is superb. Like I said, his spontaneous passing and breaks games and stuff. He's about doing his clinical finishing recently. It's been really poor for him. Not what I'd expect from like Middlesbrough 4-0 where he scored that yard screamer. So yeah, it'd be nice to have someone as back, no doubt. I think there are definitely other areas I would look to them before. Because like I said, all the players can play in that position and the person. Jack's right, left back, but when you get that one that you want, and I mean, I may remind the Lawrence of Bob, so if there's anything like Klich and Birmingham, they may do a job for us. But yeah, I'd say left back, be nice to get another keeper because he's a right off for me. He's cheated a living at Leeds, and he's not been a Leeds player for some time. It'd be nice to have another forward as well. If Bamford gets injured, or even for competition for Bamford, to spur him on and consistently play that top level. But Klich, I think I'd leave that position.
I mean, it's just first of all, guys. Is my sound a bit better? Very kind donation there, Samuel. Is it still echo? Is it any better now?
I can hear you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let us know if it continues to be an issue, guys. But I mean, there's a lot of names being thrown about, but there's nothing really concrete at this moment in time. I think Giancarlo. I think you're spot on. Really, I think Klich start the season. I mean, he was our best player by a mile the first couple of games. But it's one of those you look at it and think, ever since Arsenal, Everton, it's not been great, has it? It's not been great, from Matthijs Klich. I mean, okay. Well, I've just had a bit of news there. If you can hear that, guys.
We're jetting back down, yeah.
We don't know who that source was. We don't. But Meslier definitely out
Has
for
he
the
got
game.
Yeah.
That's been a rumor that's been knocking around. I mean, Twitter rumors for me just basically you might as well be writing to Santa Claus in terms of Twitter rumors because they're very rare they come true. But this one,
apparently, right. I'm gonna put it fucking out there now because my head's going. If they play that clown in net on fucking Saturday, it's game over.
Where's Paul Robinson? Just sign Paul Robinson.
Where's Nigel Martin? Get Nigel
Martin. Get big Nigel there.
Please, do not play that clown on Saturday, please. Just cannot play that clown. They cannot play him. They can't. The young kid. Put the other young kid in net. Anyone but him. We cannot have him in net.
It's the arrogance, Jack. It's the arrogance, Do you know what
I'm sorry, I'm sort of cutting you off, right? Because he infuriates me, that man. I've watched him now for last couple of seasons, and he just looks like someone who's just come here to earn a wage and not give two tosses about the club he's playing for. It was the same Sunday. I mean, you can make headers, but he does not look in one way does he look ever bothered when he's made an header. He doesn't. And that's what infuriates me. He's probably the highest earner there at that club. Get rid of him, pay half his wages and loan him out to someone, let them pay the other. Just get shut of that.
It's nothing but trouble, is he? Let's be honest. It's been nothing but trouble for this football club. On the pitch, off the pitch. I mean, that Derby game was the biggest telling one for me. When him and Coops, there didn't seem to be any kind of Iron Coops, his head in his hands, and it's just a big telltale sign, someone who's, I know he's won, he hasn't really won 3 Champions Leagues, has he? He's just been there in the squad. There's an arrogance.
My Champions League medals are in there. They're only exact same as him, and I made them out of fucking paper.
But it's true. He carries this big reputation, but really, it's based on nothing. Really, he was third choice keeper at Real Madrid. I mean, it means now, does it really? I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, if he starts the game, Brighton are just going to be firing shot after shot after shot from distance, aren't they? Anything on target.
I'll tell you now, us lot, all us 4 here now, and the rest of the fan base will all have his heads in his hands going, we will fear the worst. We will fear the worst, and we know we will. We will.
Unfortunately, Jack, you'll be right.
Put Dallas in there, yeah.
He's played everywhere else.
Oscar, let's ring Lucas up again. Get Red back in there again. We'll get him in. That'll do.
Right, honestly, I'm willing to get the Paul Rahubka back in net just if Kiko doesn't play. Honestly, fivefold, anyone but Kiko at this moment in time. Honestly, it's. I mean, George, are you worried now, having had that exclusive news off an unknown source? I'm not going to confirm where the news came from. I think we all know, but I'm not going to say. But what do you make of that? To be fair, mate, are I mean, I'm not going to lie. My confidence. You had me so confident here. You had me go through the roof. I've now gone underground. I've gone under the floor.
We've all gone like that now, haven't we? We've all gone on.
I'm thinking Neil Morpay is going to absolutely just. I'm just going to end up just smashing the TV up. To be fair, mate, make me feel positive again, mate. Make me feel positive, please.
Oh.
Well, you know, lads, I said we're not in any chance going to lose this one. With that bit of news, Oscar, yeah, my confidence has gone.
No, don't do this to me. No.
But, you know, look, play the young lad. I honestly, fellas, I'm with Jack, well, and the rest of the fan base. Kiko Casilla is just there to earn his big wages. Don't give a toss about Leeds United because he never has. He's never given he's never had the opportunity to be a first-team goalkeeper, you see. So why would he be bothered about Leeds United? He's always been second, third choice at Real Madrid. He was here to sit on the bench. Maybe he's never a first-team keeper. He's never a first-team. Doesn't give a toss. And you see that on Sunday when he let those goals in. And I were with you, Oscar, at the that derby game. That derby game where we lost in the playoffs, I was screaming at the telly, he should never play for us again. And then everything went on with him, and then it was reinforced. He should have never played for us ever again. I really don't see why Bielsa sticks with him so much. But hey, I said, my confidence has gone to the floor, but I will lift everybody up again and say that we've got enough to beat them by the fellas the way. We've got
do you know it might be? It might be, instead of being 5-0, it'd be 5-4 now. That's what
We're still going to win. We're just going to work that a little bit harder because that fella in the goal will no doubt make some kind of error. Yeah, it's disappointing. But, I'm with Giancarlo. I say we like him. I think we need a new goalkeeper. We need a new keeper. I really don't understand why Bielsa consistently continues to keep with Kiko Casilla. I'm so disappointed that he does. And until every time he's in goal, I want, you always want Leeds to win, but you just want him out of the club. I want him far away from Leeds United as he possibly can. But we've got the lads who know how to score goals. Bamford, Rodrigo, Rafinha looks fabulous, doesn't he? And Harrison on his day. They've still only got Neil Morpay to get shots past Kiko Casilla. So, yeah, still not worried. Still not worried, lads. We're still going to win.
I'm going to go £2,000 on the lottery now. You've convinced me. I'm still that confident.
I mean, if we win a game, if we keep a clean sheet with Kiko Casilla in goal, I mean, my word, Marcelo Bielsa is a tactical genius. He manages to get Leeds United keeping clean sheets.
Has he been putting everyone in a false sense of security then? Is that what it is? Yeah, it's just letting them in. Come on, and this week. Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. Crawley. But guys, obviously, we move on to another Spaniard there, absolute top man, Jack Spate. Fantastic donation there of Jack Spate, top man. I mean, what do you make of Rodrigo then? I mean, for me, it's been I think he's still done well. I think he's still been a decent start for him. I think obviously big price tag, but I think some weeks very good, some weeks not so good. I think obviously West Brom, I thought he was probably our best player on the day against West Brom. Newcastle, again, another game where he was instrumental. But then you've had other games like Tottenham, Burnley, Scum Away, where he was pretty much, I didn't realise he was playing on the pitch. I mean, Jack, what have you made of Rodrigo so far? Do you think, are we playing him in his best position, or do you want to see him? I don't know. It's hard though, isn't it, with Bamford in this form? It's a difficult one. What do you make of Rodrigo?
Well, I mean, we all know Rodrigo's record. He's not an out-and-out natural 20-goal-a-year man anyway. He never has been, has he, in his career where he's played. I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of him. I can just see his technique, his thinking, how clever he is when he's got the ball. It's just one of them. I do think he's still adapting. I know that obviously we paid, 32 million, whatever we paid. And when you expect that you've paid that kind of money for a player, they should adapt a bit quicker. But I do think he will come good. I think next year we will see the best of Rodrigo. I do think that. But no, I'm not disappointed with him. I do think some of the criticism he's getting is unjust, but also I do understand it because he just seemed to go missing. But when he's on his game, he can be quite unplayable, can't he? You know, you can see he's just. I do like him, and yeah, I'm not upset about how he's been playing or anything like that. I'm not going to criticise him, but I can understand why some people will criticise him. That's all I can say really about him. Yeah.
I think what I will say is I've got that Crawley game. He got a lot of criticism for that, but I don't think he was that bad the first half. He was making a lot of runs in behind. He was moving around. He was trying to get shots off. I mean, to be honest, the quality of service into him was that poor. I think he could have had Harry Kane on the pitch against Crawley and done nothing. I think anyone on the pitch, we were that poor on Sunday in terms of that first half and the whole game, really. I mean, Giancarlo, what have you made of obviously trying to think from player ratings? I think it's gone from one end of the scale to the other. I mean, what's kind of your thoughts on Rodrigo so far? Do you see him long term playing alongside Klich as kind of like the number 10, closer to Bamford, or do you want to see him potentially really challenging Bamford for that centre forward spot?
I'm not too sure about Bamford's position. I mean, we can't really comment on it because obviously, like I said, Crawley trying to do it all himself. There weren't much delivery, no. And I mean, prior to him actually signing, I want to watch you play the balls, and you know, most of them are all tap-ins, you know, from 5 yards out. And I think he's so much more of a skillful player than that. Jack's right, you know, he's probably one of my more favourite players. I get, you know, spent 30+ million on him. We used to spend him 500, a million, maybe 2 million at max in the Championship on players. For sure, it's time one of the most expensive ones at 3 million, and then Bamford was. So you want the world, you know, when you spend that sort of money. But it can open things up, as we saw with the Arsenal game. He come on, hit the crossbar once, didn't he? And I think another time. So yeah, I think he is a really skillful player. There's no doubt about that for me. But I would not think that position in central attacking mid.
Because it's a hard one, because obviously you've got Bamford there. I think I'd have to agree. You know, I think obviously, as Jack said, his goal record as a centre forward, even though he is Spain's number 9, and rightly so, Spain's number 9, it's not because he scores loads of goals. It's because he's a bit more of a Firmino type of a sort of centre forward in terms of he links up play. Yeah, the wingers either side of him, he feeds them, and he just drops in and he's just a really, really good link-up player. I think obviously Bamford's more of a goal scorer out of the two. But it's a hard one because you can't drop Bamford, and Bielsa will never play 2 up top because it's not how Bielsa's system works. But I mean, George, do you go along with that? Would you say Rodrigo, he's done okay so far, and number 10 is the right place for him long term in this Leeds team?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think so. I agree 100%. Oscar, Bielsa, he's not going to drop Bamford. Bamford's our main man. He's done well in the Premier League, and he'll be, until Bielsa leaves, I think Bamford will be our number 9 main striker, and he'll only play one centre forward. So yeah, I do think it's the best position for him in this team. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. I agree with Jack. I think he'll come back better next season. But what I like about Roddy is that, you know, you see interviews with him, and, you know, complete opposite to the other Spanish fellow we were just talking about. He refers to Leeds as us. You know, there was an interview with him not long ago, and he said us, and it was before he was talking about the promotion, or when we got promoted, and he wasn't even there then. So you can understand, you know, he's kind of already got an affiliation to Leeds United, and he tries really hard, I think, Rodrigo. He has had his really bad games, but then he's had his really good games, hasn't he? And he looks really, really dangerous on times, and he will come good. We'll see the best of him as he adapts to that position more and more as the season goes on. Got some important goals, hasn't he? So, yeah. To be honest with you, I'm very excited to see what he can do going forward. And I really like him actually as a player. I think he's great. him and Rafinha, for me, looked very exciting. It was one game I was very excited to see them play together, and I can't remember which one it was. We started together, and unfortunately they were rubbish, but I can't remember which game it was. But, you know, generally those two players, yeah, great, you know, unbelievable stuff. And to see us signing that sort of talent is brilliant. It can only get better. For me, it's Klich. Klich's the guy who we want to drop, in my opinion. Klich, for me, has not been good enough for the majority of the season, really. He looks lethargic. He just doesn't look... I don't know what's wrong with him, but for me, he doesn't look on it, really. And I don't think it is a priority to replace him or whatever. I know he's getting older. But I feel like sooner or later we're going to have to find somebody who can do that role.
I mean, what I would say with Klich is he did get that rest against Crawley, you know, to be fair. He has had a bit, you know, I think for 2.5 years he's had like 0 rest. So hopefully, you know, we see a better version of Klich on Saturday and for the second half of the season. What do you think to that, George?
Yeah, I hope so, Oscar. I hope you're right, because like you say, he has had a bit of a rest. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. You know, I think he's a great player, but I just feel like sometimes he does put himself into the ground and he don't do quite the best of him. But it's so important to the way Bielsa wants to play his team, isn't he? I don't know what the kicking sound is.
I can hear it as well. I thought it was just
I don't know what it is, to be fair, mate. It's
feedback.
Better.
It seems to have gone now. But yeah, Klich for me, lads. I just think he runs himself down into the ground, you know. And he just needs a little bit more than what... I think he'll be back to it on Saturday, but I have been a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you, with Klich for the majority of the season. And but who else do you play there? Do you play Pablol there? I mean, that's another debate, isn't it? Pablol's a real... I like Pablol. I mean, we all love Pablol, don't we? What a player he is. But I think Pablol, I would like to see him used a bit more. Brings that bit of magic, doesn't he, Pablol, to the team? And, you know, it's something that we need a bit more often.
I mean, I'm going to start something now. Let's name things we'd rather have in net than Kiko. I mean, let's just say this isn't going to be another Neckmar or Christian Ben-Necky kind of thing, but things you'd rather have in net than Kiko Casilla. Let's see. Let's get that in the chat, guys, and I'll obviously read out the best ones we have. But
Stephen Hawking. Put Stephen Hawking in net.
just anyone. Just anyone. Just honestly, I mean, just what the thing is, I'm doing all this for one reason, because Kiko Casilla is going to have an absolute blinder against Brighton after this. After we've all given him all this stick, that's the reason why we're doing it, guys. This is why we're doing it.
We'll have to eat our words, won't we, Oscar?
Chocolate fire guard.
The tea lady. Lucas the Copcat. A Jaffa cake. Hernandez in net.
I don't think Lucas has got as big a head as Casilla.
But I don't know what I've started now. I've started a campaign.
Hard again.
I mean, it's a worry, isn't it? I'm not going to lie. My confidence. I mean, I think this has already been probably the biggest blow of 2021. I mean, just that news. I mean, no, it's just like, please no, please no.
And everything we've gone through, and you think 2021 is going to be better, and then on 13th of January, 13 days in, we get this news that clown is probably going to be in net on Saturday. I mean,
I wouldn't be like this about any other Leeds player, but it's just the fact Casilla, it's the arrogance, it's off the pitch, it's everything, it's all the trouble he's caused us. He just needs to leave the club. I mean, if Casilla had anything about him, he'd try and come to an arrangement of some sort, that we could cancel his contract. But for me, it just feels like he's got no intention, because he knows he's on a whacking good contract and he can use this club for the next, I think it's 2023, is it, his contract's till? I mean...
Oscar, that just tells you the man. He's that arrogant. He's like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I've got a contract. You're paying me 40,000 a week. I'm going to sit here. I don't give a toss what all your fans say. I don't give a toss about anything. I don't give a toss. You've gone out FA Cup because I'm absolutely terrible. That's him. It's him. He's just a bad apple that has fallen from the tree, and he's fell into that group of players. He's just fell into this club. You know, we thought we'd got past all that shit that we'd got through for years, and it's him. I
mean, Chris Kelly, Kiko is our Ozil. I mean, well, at least the only thing I'd say is at least Ozil is a professional footballer. That's the only thing I'd say that to that. To be fair, I mean, I'd rather have Ozil in that, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, looking into this game, then, you know, obviously I still feel all right. You know, I think going forward, we've still scored. I think we've still scored more goals than Man City going forward. So we're obviously doing something right going forward. And I can't honestly see a 5-4 kind of either side kind of game. You know, I really can see game of the season kind of stuff. You know, especially if there's an early goal, I think it will explode into life. But I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, it's only Wednesday. The game's on Saturday. Do you think there's a shout for this in terms of getting an emergency goalkeeper on loan? I mean, Sam, you're shaking your head straight away. I mean, if that was the case, you know, Bielsa, I mean, you can't tell me Bielsa was happy with Kiko Casilla's performances. He drops him out of the team. I know he had to drop him out of the team because he got that ban, rightly so, by the sounds of things. I mean, he's not really been quick to bring him back in. I mean, surely this must be coming into Victor Orta and Bielsa's minds. I mean, would there be a goalkeeper you'd look at potentially to bring in on loan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's time to do that. You know, one that I would love to see, lads, and I'll put it to you guys here, is Matty Ryan, who seems to have been frozen out at Brighton. You know, why not get somebody like him, big experience in the Premier League? I just feel like Kiko Casilla, he's bleeding the club dry of all the way, you know, the biggest wages. He doesn't give a toss whether we win or lose, and he just sits there, big wages, don't care. As you know, makes howlers every single time he plays, and he knows what the fans think of him, but he's sitting on all that money. So why would he care? You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I just don't like the bloke. I don't think he should have a place in Leeds United. You know, for what he's done for back in last season, that game against Charlton, horrendous. Should never have played after that. He shouldn't have played before that, after that Derby game. He's just not the kind of player we want at Leeds United. But Bielsa obviously sees something else in him, doesn't he, for some reason. So, you know, yeah, it's frustrating, but we've just got to get down and sort of say, well, if Bielsa wants him in there, then we're going to have to just deal with it. But I'd love to see an emergency loan come in. Matty Ryan, like I say, would be my choice. Very good keeper. Seems to be frozen out at Brighton. But yeah, I mean, we can get him in. Why not? I mean, I'd rather play with nobody in goal than Kiko Casilla, to be honest.
The extra outfielder.
Just play.
Do what's
yeah, have the back kind of four.
Do flyers, just nearest person in goal.
That's it, mate. Yeah, just play like that. Don't play with him because he's just bleeding the club dry of all that money every week and just pulls out performances like he did against Crawley. It's not acceptable for him. It's not acceptable. And have a watch, fellas, of my reaction to that video. I say in it, he's got to go. Just get out. Just get out of Leeds United because nobody wants you here.
Oscar, we got bad interference. Hey up, we got it. Sorted it.
I mean, I've got to agree with George there. I've got to 100% agree with George. I mean, what I would say is, and I saw a couple of comments come in, you know, we've seen this similar kind of, again, different kind of issue with Samuel Saiz, you know, and I think ever since that, I think that's kind of solved because I think obviously at the start of Bielsa's reign, there was a lot of bad apples in that dressing room, and Samuel Saiz was considered one of them. As talented as Samuel Saiz was, you know, there was undoubtedly ridiculously talented, and obviously getting rid of Samuel Saiz probably did cost us promotion in that first season, but long term it proved to be the right decision because we we managed to, find a system around it. I think obviously Costa came in, a couple of different players came in. But, I mean, it's the case of this now that we've just got to get it done. Just got to get Kiko Casilla out the door. For me, I would happily just pay off his whole, not me personally, obviously, I've not got that money, but I'd happily personally just pay off his contract. If I was a millionaire Leeds supporter, I'd just be putting the money into the club and just pay off his contract and just get him out that door.
I'm going to bring that up because I'm just thinking about that. Surely to God, Rajazani, he's a football man. He watches football games. He sees the exact same things that us as fans see. Fair enough, he's the man that's paying that imbecile his wages. But you'd look as a businessman and thinking, hold on a minute, you're not doing nothing for my business or what I own, so I'm going to get rid of you. I'll just pay your contract out, get rid of you. Surely to God, them players. I mean, I think there was a picture there and it showed you Calvin. He's on floor and you've got Casilla like that. And Calvin just sort of looking at him. Surely to God, them players turn up for training on Monday and just look and think, you're a tosser. You are absolutely, you're shit. And they must think that, you go, if you worked with someone and he ain't doing his job properly, you think the same thing. You think, he's not good. I don't want him working with me. And you do think that. Surely, God, it's the same thing. So, why don't Rajasthan just say, right, pay him his money up, get him out of the club and forget about it. It's just been a signing has just been a disaster from day one. We've had the racism charges, we've had everything. It's just been a disaster. And, Sunday for me was the final nail in Kiko Casilla's coffin at Leeds United, at Ellen Road, at Thorpe Arch, as part of Leeds United for me. It would just get him out of the club. He's a bad seed, he's a bad apple, and he's a shit goalkeeper. Simple as, isn't it?
He's not even got ability on the pitch. I mean, Saiz Janssen, as Chris Kelly mentioned, they did at least have a lot of ability on the pitch, which would kind of justify the off-the-pitch problems with them in Thorpe Arch, bit of disrespect between fellow players. But at least they did the job on a Saturday afternoon most of the time. But Kiko Casilla, there's no kind of other point to him, for me. There's no argument you can say, he produces world-class saves, he keeps us in games. He doesn't. He's actually a liability on and off the pitch. And for me, he's got to be considered in terms of the cost. I know the fact of the matter is, we got Kiko Casilla for free and I still feel ripped off.
Of course we have. Paying him that kind of money. And
then obviously the wages, and that's what's kind of been
the wages is on.
We didn't actually pay a transfer fee for Casilla, and it still feels like an absolute rip-off in that sense.
Do you know what I mean? He's got all this at Real Madrid and whatever Champions League because he sat on bench and watched game. You might as well give one at fans it fucking stand his Champions League medals because they did the same fucking thing, didn't they? Is what he did.
Same contribution.
Yeah, exactly. Just get rid of him, but I don't know what's going to happen.
He's going to have a worldie on Saturday. That's what's going to. After all this has been said, and to be fair, if he wants to plug anything, that's the thing. If he wants to plug any of this and use this as his what's his name, his G up for the game, he can do. If he does the job on the Saturday, I don't care. But he's not doing this job on the Saturday. He's a nightmare off the pitch.
Yeah.
What are your feelings, Giancarlo? Are we being harsh, or is it just go, Kiko?
It's completely justified. I mean, you have a bad day at work, in the office. You may get a telling off. You have a couple of bad weeks. They may look at a disciplinary. A few bad months, you're gone. So why is it? I mean, he's been at the club. Is it 3 years now? It's definitely 2. And I don't know. We can go on and on. But like Jack said, and George, I guess, Radrizzani is the one that makes the decision and all. So you've just got to look at other options. And I like the look of Sergio Romero. Matt Ryan's a great keeper, no doubt, but I don't quite understand why they brought in Sanchez ahead of Matt Ryan. I mean, I saw Sanchez for Rochdale with the second club, on the wrong side of the Pennines, Rochdale. I know he looked like a decent keeper. So Matt Ryan, is an option. But I like the look of Sergio Romero. I mean, his contract's running up. I think it's due to end in the summer. But again, do you want to rush him for a keeper? That's the issue with Cabril. I mean, and the argument is, do you give them the game time? Do you put that youth on the bench? But then, if they never play, they'll never have that experience. So Cabril's is not an option, really. if he'd have played against Crawley, we could have at least seen what we're about. Bielsa would have had some sort of idea. But if he's not even making, I mean, well, if he's not even starting, Bielsa's clearly got no intent to play him, so he mustn't have that confidence. But you've got to give them that game time to at least show them, let them prove their worth. So it's frustrating. It really is. Yeah, just don't, like you said, you outscore them. I don't want a 5-4. I don't want a Birmingham game like last season. My heart was palpitating, and so my dad's, which isn't good at
I've still not recovered from that one. I'm just glad that their player had a bet on us and decided to kick the ball in the back of their own net at 4-4. It still looks corrupt, that own goal to me. That still looks like a Leeds fan. The centre back for them is a defender. I mean, not a defender, sorry. Centre back for them is a Leeds fan. I mean, what he was doing on that own goal. But anyway, look, guys, I don't want to bring it on a sad note because obviously we've spoken about Casilla, but it's a concern, isn't it, guys? It's a massive concern for Saturday. I think it massively alters the whole complexion of the game. Brighton are in the poor form, but all of a sudden Brighton have been given a massive lift, haven't they? There's no doubt Graham Potter will have looked at that and thought, my word, let's get some shots off at Casilla straight away. Get these shots off at Casilla. He's going to let a few of them in because that's the thing. It's biscuit wrists, isn't it? I mean, the first 2 goals on Sunday, it's gone straight through him, haven't they? I mean, oh.
I mean, Casa is Italian for house, so it may well be right. I don't think his wine is up there.
If that's right, that's just so. He's a shed.
Oh, it could not be any more perfect. I mean,
brilliant is that?
I mean, oh dearie me! I mean, the fact of the matter is, we can kind of have a bit of a laugh about it because we're quite clear of relegation. We're quite comfortable at this moment in time. I tell you what, if you were getting this news at the start of the season, like Liverpool away,
God,
oh my word! If this was like Liverpool or Man City and you had Casilla, oh my word! I wouldn't be able to watch the game, to be honest.
You'd be like that, wouldn't you?
It's just Mo Salah's coming in on goal. He just needs to pass it, and it's in the back of the net. But anyway, look, we all know what's going to happen. Kiko Casilla is going to pull out the game of his life on Saturday against Brighton. And I tell you what, I'll stop taking those drugs. I'd stop taking those drugs at this rate. But just do it for us, Kiko. Just perform for once, mate. Just do your job. And just try saving some shots. Just try, I don't know, just being a bit better.
Just be a keeper.
Just being a professional goalkeeper for a game. But guys, anyway, look, it's been an absolutely superb chat. Just coming in at over an hour here. Me and Joe we'll be back tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? We've possibly got a Brighton fan with us as well. We're going to do a little live match preview. It's been a while since we've done one of those. Again, I'm not sure if the Brighton fan who's joining us, I'm not sure yet. But we will try to get it sorted. We might do a job swap. I think I might swap for Casilla. I'll keep us a clean sheet on Saturday. I don't mind. Just anything but Casilla in goal on Saturday. But anyway, look, we'll leave it there anyway. Giancarlo, top man. Great to put a face to the name. You'll see him many a time in the player ratings. I've got to admit, mate, the accent did take me by surprise. A slight tinge of disappointment with the accent as well, to be fair, mate. A slight tinge, I'm not going to lie.
No, he was from Napoli accent, that's Naples accent, that.
Naples.
Yeah, Naples.
I mean,
it's a Yorkshire Neapolitan.
Put it on, but I didn't want to be a fraud, really. And I'm going to have to put you right. You reckon I'm a ladies man? I'm not quite. So the Italian side, you've misjudged me there. I'm definitely a ladies man as well. I'm just a Leeds fan that likes a cup of Yorkshire tea and watches Corrie.
God, man.
But the name, mate, you've got the greatest name in Yorkshire. Giancarlo. You just can't. I'd happily put you in goal for Saturday just because of that name. It just radiates confidence. It radiates confidence in that whole back line there. This guy's called Giancarlo. He is not letting us down here. He's not letting us down.
Hey,
it just radiates confidence.
If it's anything to go about, I know he didn't play in net. but Giancarlo in English is John Charles.
Yes,
so
yes. That's the one.
Even got a stand named after me, so I'm not doing too much.
You can't start much better. Whole crowd's behind you. I would happily start you in goal on Saturday, just off the back of the name Giancarlo Palucci. It is great. It instills confidence across Yorkshire, to be fair, mate. But yeah, look, you'll be joining us on the player ratings, I'm sure, on either on the comments or on the video or whatever after Brighton, and you'll be giving us a 10 out of 10 for Casilla. I can see it now, mate, to be fair.
Our words.
I hope so anyway, mate. I hope so. And George, just remind us again, mate, you have hit 100 subscribers. Remind us where we can find you on YouTube, mate.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. For anybody who's hit the subscribe button on the channel. So it's a Loco for Leeds on YouTube and all social media as well. You'll find me there. Match reactions, match previews. Like I say, I've got a chat coming up with Seb Carroll, previewing the Brighton game. He speaks to me about his time with Leeds and his time with Brighton as well. So check that out. But yeah, thanks a lot for having me, fellas. Anyway, it's been a blast with the three of you. So I've enjoyed that.
I'll tell you what as well, George, just for your beard alone, I'd start you in goal on Saturday as well.
You just flick his beard up, anything like that.
I'll tell you what, honestly, on corners, you're winning absolutely everything in there. Absolutely everything. You're beating more pay in the air there, mate. I mean...
You just catch it in his beard and everything like wet balls.
That's the thing. Yeah. Your beard is like an additional hand.
My name and George's beard. If we had kids, George...
Oh, that's it.
If there is anything watching this, anyone watching this who is a goalkeeper, a trainee goalkeeper, please get in touch. Have a DM on here or DM. Somebody else a 4-parch. Get yourself to 4-parch in Tagcaster. Wait by the gates, and you will be, I'm sure, invited in.
We've got a good chance of playing on Saturday.
Just bring gloves and that lot. And I tell you the last thing about Kiko Casilla before I move off is how annoying is his goalkeeping kit. It just, I don't know. He even annoys me because of the colour goalkeeper kit he wears. He wears all green and that lot. It just looks. Anyway, look, we'll move on.
The keeper kits. I like the keeper kits, lads. I just don't like that fella wearing it the fella wearing it on Sunday. Anyway, I like Melier though.
But unfortunately, he's caught the other thing. So
has he got COVID then? That's why he's not playing.
Yeah, he's testing positive. So.
Oh dear. How many more will follow though in the coming weeks? Good job we've got that bit of time to recover from Southampton. From that Southampton match.
He hasn't passed it on to any other players, though. I mean, that was what I was saying in terms of the Crawley game. Going into that Crawley game week on week, Crawley sat the worst infections week on week. So my argument at that point was don't start a strong team depending if you get going to play on the Premier League. So anyway, that's what it is.
We'll leave it there anyway, guys. On that positive note about the Leeds United #1. But yeah, if Ivan Medley's brother is available, he should get in touch with the club as well and just get himself in that team. Get himself in that team. Oh man, it's anyway. We'll leave it there. It took a funny turn, this one, because we had that live news. I wish we never got that live news now. The life has now gone from being fantastic to being miserable in the space of about half an hour. But we'll leave it there, guys. Anyway, see you later.